Hi, my name is Michal Luria, and in this video I will present the paper Robotic Futures, Learning About Personally Owned Agents Through Performance. This paper is co-authored with Judith Oden-Choi, Rachel Gita-Karp, John Zimmerman, and Jody Ferlizzi. The motivation for this work is that conversational agents and robots are intended for social spaces like the home, but designers know little about how they should respond to social activity around them. They're mostly designed for one-on-one interactions, one agent and one user, and they don't really address more socially complex situations. In this work, we set out to expand beyond these simple interactions and explore the design space of future agents that are socially integrated in our environments. However, socially complex agents do not yet exist, which is why we used a design fiction approach to imagine future interactions. We did this through an iterative co-design process of devising an immersive performance called Robotic Futures. Creating the performance was a form of thinking through doing that was done by a group of social agent designers and researchers together with theater professionals. If we look at the futures cone that looks at a timeline from today and into the future, this method allowed the research team, the designers, the actors, and at a later stage the audience members to explore social agents and robots beyond probable futures and to engage in the felt experience of a broad range of plausible futures. Previous work has used theater and roleplay for discovery and rapid ideation, or to enact many different situations around a single design problem. Theater, unlike lab or field studies, allows researchers to explore how a design that doesn't yet exist may fit into people's everyday lives, and it begins to explore some of the consequences and complexities that it may introduce. In the field of human-robot interaction, theater has also been used as a research tool to examine models of interaction or evaluate robot perceptions. Our work used performance co-design as a way of knowing through doing, so the insights emerged from the action itself. In the process, we discovered interactions that seemed to work well, and those made it into the final performance. Interactions that did not work very well seamlessly dropped from the narrative throughout the process as well. And the resulting performance was a proposition about future socially sophisticated agents that surfaced many ideas, behaviors, as well as unanswered questions about their integration in the home. The co-design process made use of a range of generative methods from both interaction design and performance disciplines. Over several months, we generated new scenes and narratives every week, and after each session of generative work, we synthesized our ideas and integrated them in the next week. This process revealed topics of interest as well as assumptions that existed in the space. We continued this devising process until we reached a final performance that told the story of a family of 5. The scenes were focused on everyday interpersonal interactions and not on the technology, which highlights the value of this method over other evaluative techniques that focus on an ideal version of a technology. We then invited audiences to view the final performance in 2 events in the city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In addition to the narrator agent that you can see in the image, there were 7 other agents that were included in the narrative. For example, an assistive agent was used to assist an older adult.
Can I help you? What item do you need?
My glasses.
Your glasses are on your bedside table.
Or a robotic table that enforces a curfew.
Mom! Yes, dear? I need more time.
As we see the process of making the performance research through design, we also see the final performance as a design prototype. This is why, retrospectively, we analyze the performance using artifact analysis. Artifact analysis included thinking through the norms, reasoning, context, and the range of social constructs that led to the creation of the artifact, or in our case, to the performance. Furthermore, our previous work has revealed that an important aspect to consider for agents in socially complex situations is ownership. Who owns the agent, and who is it accountable to? We therefore use this finding as an analysis lens and focus on how ownership or non-ownership of an agent played out in the presented interactions. We also asked participants to answer a short questionnaire to collect their responses. The results discussed here refer to interactions that organically developed in the process and that made it into the final performance. They surfaced themes in 3 categories: interactions with agents that are shared by several individuals, interactions with agents that are owned by a single individual, and general interactions with agents in the home. Due to time constraints, I will discuss the first two categories. The rest can be found in the paper. When shared agents or agents owned by multiple individuals were used in scenes, they were mostly used for general interactions and for simple tasks, similar to how they're used today. While interaction with them was limited, our process revealed several advantages that were exclusive to shared agents. First, they allowed anyone in the home to equally access basic functions, such as cleaning or updating the family calendar, regardless of role, age, or social differences. Second, a shared agent was frequently used as an impartial entity that functioned in cases of conflict between individuals and acted according to what might seem as fair. Finally, shared agents had the unique advantage of being able to observe and retell events that occurred in the home. However, the majority of interactions were with agents that were owned by a single individual, which is quite different from the current interaction model we see in conversational agent design. In the developed scenes, personally owned agents were portrayed as emotionally closer to their owners, and they shared more intimate moments with them. They were also frequently co-located with the user in the same space, and their base or charging hub was placed in the owner's room. Lastly, personally owned agents were much more likely to have a specific role and function, unlike the shared agents that were more characterized with multitasking. If we zoom in just on the different roles that personally owned agents had, we can observe three types of recurrent personally owned agents. Each type had a different set of behaviors and as a result had a different felt experience. The first type were self-agents. Self-agents acted like their character's inner voice, resulting in an experience that resembled writing in a personal diary or even talking to oneself. Self-agents were stationary and placed in the owner's room, and they did not interact with anyone else other than their owner. The second kind, social agents, were the most similar to shared agents, but they differed in that in situations of conflict or multiple requests, they prioritized their owner over others. They also expressed more sympathetic behaviors towards them. Expert agents were agents with a specific goal or mission, usually a high risk or important one. In the performance, we had two expert agents that you saw in the video. One was an assistive agent for an older adult with early-stage dementia, and the other was a robotic table that was used by a teenager. In both cases of expert agents, actors possessed a piece of technology that they did not always have complete control over. This reveals tension between the user of an agent and the individual who has control over it, such as the parents. This is just one example of the many ethical questions and considerations that were raised in the process and final analysis of this work. Unlike many interfaces that are designed for optimal use case scenarios, design fiction enables us to explore agents within the full ecosystem in which they may exist, along with the complexities that might come with them. In other words, our approach sets out not only to expand the design space to a broad range of plausible interactions, but also highlight opportunities, questions, and concerns around their use, both for designers and audiences. Our design proposition suggests agents that make use of personal and private information, such as medical data or family interactions. While we did find these valuable, they were assumed to be situated in a future where people have control over their information. This is unfortunately not the case at the moment, and without strict security practices from service providers, our findings should be considered with caution. Future work in this space intends to explore what can service providers do on their end to better support interactions with socially complex and sophisticated agents. Thank you for listening, and if you have any comments or questions, I'm happy to continue this discussion via email. I would also like to thank my collaborators, as well as Carnegie Mellon's CS&X and NSF for funding this work. Thank you.